I think the most difficult thing about homeschooling is figuring out how to assign grades. It can be daunting and I can feel insecure and feel like I'm not educated enough to know what to do. So that was why when I started directing Challenge B, one of the first things I did was put together a Lost Tools of Writing grading rubric. Parents have fallen in love with this grading rubric, and I've had some parents ask me if I would customize it to A, B, and 1 and the books that we read and what we cover. So that is what I have done here, and I am going to go over how I use this in this video. And if we haven't met before, hi, my name's Erica Lynn, and I'm a homeschooling mom, and it is my hope to help homeschooling become easy for you too. So let's dive into this grading rubric and let me explain how I use it. I'm going to be showing you on this digital copy here. Okay, I want to start in the bottom left-hand corner because down here, that is the key to this grading rubric and shows you how to use it. I want you to notice each essay is listed and color-coded. The whole rubric is color-coded. So we have essays 2 through 9. Just like in Challenge B, we are skipping essay 1 and skipping essay 3. Those go into essay 2 and essay 4. So all those components are still required. We are just not practicing those separately. We're speeding this process up. Don't worry, your student can handle it. We have the essay number, then I have the book that is assigned for them to be writing that essay over. So essay 2 is going to be written over Sign of the Beaver or Witch of Blackbird Pond, whichever one your community reads. Essay 4 is going to be written over Johnny Tremaine, so on and so forth. At the far side of that, you'll notice a point total. That's how many points are required and available if they complete all the outline, all the figures of speech, and all the MLA components. Each of those go through every essay down to the end. Now, I want to look at this column up above. I have the MLA format listed up here and color-coded blue because it is required starting from the beginning. Your student is in high school now, so they need to follow high school typing paper requirements. So this is no longer listed as optional on this grading rubric. Each of these components of the MLA format is worth 10 points. Down below that, you have your IEW dress-ups that you used in Essentials. If your student wants to use those, great, throw them in. They're 5 bonus points. But I only give out 1 bonus for each type of dress-up per paper. I don't want them scoring their entire paper with dress-ups. Now, there's 2 things you need to think about when you are grading writing. First is content, second is mechanics. When it comes to content, if you are counting this as an honors level course, part of that is grading that your student is capable of higher level thinking, processing, and persuasive skills. So their content needs to be held to a higher standard. I do not have content graded on this rubric. That is a subjective thing to grade, and that's going to be up to you to figure out if you think their content is up to par and how you want to add that in. What I like to think through is, who did you pick to write this paper to? That's in your amplification. And was your paper convincing to that audience? Did you pick the most convincing proofs and the most convincing subproofs to that audience? Do all of your subproofs explain and expand on your proofs, not just rename it? And are they thought through logically and concretely? Okay? Those are some things you can be looking for and thinking through. That is all the invention stuff that we cover in week 1 of the LTW cycle. Now, in week 2, we go into the arrangement. That's where we're going to move over to the right side of this grading chart. This is our outline. Each essay starts with a smaller outline and adds to it. So my highlighting colors have done the same thing. When you start with essay 2, you need to include all the blue highlighting on the outline components. Then when you move on to essay 4, you're going to add in the pink highlighting, not just the pink highlighting. It's the pink and the blue because we're building here. When you go on to essay 5, you're going to add in the orange highlighting as well. So now you need to have all the blue, all the pink, and all the orange components of the outline in your paper. And the point totals reflect that. Okay. The other thing I want to point out on this outline here is I've told you how to break up your paragraphs in the paper. Up at the top, I have listed paragraph numbers 1 through 11, and they are in columns. So each outline box coordinates with the column above it and tells you what paragraph it's supposed to be in. When the box shifts to the right, your paper should be starting a new paragraph. This is to help you remember where those are. The only thing I want to point out about this is the exordium. In the LTW curriculum, essays 1 through 6 include the exordium in the paragraph following instead of separating it out on its own. Essay 7 changes that and it separates the exordium into its own paragraph. I don't know why they switched that there. I want my students practicing this correctly from the beginning. So on this grading rubric, I have separated the exordium into its own paragraph, even starting at essay 1, and that's how I have my students practice it. That's up to you. Now, if my student gets an outline component in the incorrect paragraph, I don't count off for that. I just mark it on the paper and tell them to do better next time. All right, when you see these outline components, you can just put an X in that black box. If they missed it, I put a circle to signify that it's missing. Once you've graded the outline, we can go down to the bottom and look at the figures of speech. This is what they cover in week 3, their elocution week. Each essay, except for essay 1, is adding in a new figure of speech or a new rhetorical device to their paper. So essay 2 has the parallelism one word. Essay 4 has strong verbs and parallelism phrases. I want you to remember, once you've learned this rhetorical device, even though we don't talk about it again, it's required to be in every essay moving forward. So when you get to essay 9, you have 8 rhetorical devices in your essay. Also remember, it's 1 per paper, not 1 per paragraph like it was in Essentials. So when I find this rhetorical device, I put an X in the box under the paragraph number that it was in. If it's not in the paper at all, I put a circle under paragraph 1 to show that it wasn't in the whole paper. I also ask my students to highlight these rhetorical devices the same color that they are on the grading rubric in their paper. That way I don't have to hunt for it and wonder if it's there or not. Also, it helps that if a student does the rhetorical device wrong, instead of me thinking they didn't try and it's not in the paper, when it's highlighted, I can just identify, oh, they were trying to get this rhetorical device, they just messed up. And so I can teach them how to do it correctly next time. But that way I still know they attempted, and you can give whatever credit you want for that attempt. Okay, each of these outline and figures of speech and MLA formats are worth 10 points. That's where you get your point totals in that bottom left-hand key. Once I'm done looking for everything in their paper, I add up all the checks in their grading rubric, and I write that total under their point total, 10 points each. Then I take the points that they got divided by the total of points available for that essay, and that gives me their percentage grade for the whole paper. All right, I hope this was helpful to you. Put any extra questions you have in the comments, and if you watched the whole video, would you put a heart in the comments below? That just means the world to me. It lets me know that this was helpful to you. And thank you all so much. I hope you have a great day.